Welcome back to MAPVORT Farm, where real stories from the world of farming come to life. Today, we're diving into the incredible journey of Qin Jun, the man who turned ordinary chickens into a million-dollar opportunity. From being a struggling salesman to leading a thriving farming cooperative, his story is packed with vision, risk, and smart thinking. Let's get started. In a remote mountain village in Guangxi province, China, a young man gave up his office job in the city and made the bold decision to return to his hometown to raise chickens. But not just any chickens, and definitely not in any ordinary way. The chickens he raises can fly over 200 meters along the mountainside and sell for 5 yuan more per kilo than regular chickens, yet they still sell out fast. He didn't just turn his flock into money-flying chickens. He did something that earned the respect of every chicken farmer. He turned a tiny, unwanted dwarf chicken breed into a money-making treasure. That young man is Qin Jun, an ethnic Zhuang, born and raised in the forests of Guangxi. His journey to success started right where he was born, in a place known only for wild grass, rugged hills, and a few free-range chickens scattered around. It all started with a chance discovery. After graduating from college, Qin Jun worked as a traveling salesman. During his trips through various towns and counties, he noticed something. Factory farmed chickens were dominating the market, raised in just 3 months and ready for sale. In contrast, naturally raised free-range chickens were incredibly rare, delicious, clean, and high-priced, but few dared to raise them in large numbers. He thought back to his hometown, where a few families still raised native chickens on the hills, mostly for their own meals and rarely for sale. The chickens from his village had an especially rich flavor and could sell for as much as 40 to 50 yuan per kilo. That's when a spark of inspiration hit him. Why not raise native chickens professionally and at scale? Starting a business deep in the mountains. In 2010, Qin Jun returned to his hometown and boldly leased over 500 mu of land, about 82 acres. He bought 5,000 chicks and started building coops and setting up a farm in the middle of the mountains. Luckily, the land around his farm was full of go trees, a type of tree known to boost chickens' immune systems. The chickens were free-range, eating natural leaves without growth hormones or commercial feed. They grew slowly but were sturdy, healthy, and spent their days running and flying around the hills. After more than 2 years of trial raising, by April 2013, his first batch of chickens was ready for market. Unlike market chickens raised in just 4 months, his chickens were raised for at least 6 months, resulting in firmer, more flavorful meat, but that also pushed up the production cost. He priced his chickens at 25 yuan per kilogram. But the buyers refused to purchase. They thought it was too expensive and were afraid they'd be stuck with unsold stock. No one wants to buy? Then let them try it. Undeterred, Qin Jun didn't give up. Instead of relying on middlemen, he went straight to restaurants in town to pitch his chickens. At first, the chefs also shook their heads. Sure, the chicken tastes great, but who's gonna pay that much for it? That's when Qin Jun came up with a bold move. Free samples, cook it, taste it, try it. He teamed up with chefs to create mouth-watering specialty dishes using his free-range chickens. From hanging roast chicken, simple boiled chicken, to longan chicken soup, everything was ready. He believed that once people tasted it, they'd be hooked. But days passed, and still no callbacks from the restaurants. Each day that went by, he grew more anxious. Then, a week later, one restaurant finally called back. The manager told him that many customers had come back specifically asking for that mountain-raised chicken he had brought in. It seemed like things were finally turning around. But then, Qin Jun made a decision that shocked everyone. He would no longer sell chickens directly to restaurants. Instead, he told the restaurants to buy through distributors. Why would he do that? After all the hard work finding his first customers, why would he hand them over to someone else? The truth was, Qin Jun had a bigger plan. After leasing over 500 mu of land back in his hometown to raise chickens, he priced each chicken at 25 yuan due to the longer, more natural 6-month growth period, more than twice the time it takes for conventional chickens to grow. When the restaurants agreed to pay 30 yuan per chicken, everyone thought he was about to cash in big. But by selling through distributors, he was back to earning just 25 yuan per chicken, losing 5 yuan in profit each. His friends thought he was making a mistake. But Qin Jun saw something much bigger. He knew that distributors were the ones with the real access to large customer networks. If he helped them gain clients, they would trust him, and in return, they'd help expand his market rapidly. And that's exactly what happened. By supporting his distributors in finding buyers, Qin Jun quickly built strong partnerships with many local agents. With the sales network secured, he began to scale up his operations. By 2015, he was raising over 20,000 chickens. Seeing his success, many locals started following his lead. So, he launched a cooperative, bringing together over 160 farming households. Demand surged, and supply couldn't keep up. The price of chicks shot up from 3 yuan to 8 yuan. And at times they were completely sold out, causing him to miss several large orders. To solve the issue of chick supply, Qin Jun invested in 10,000 breeding chickens, purchased incubation equipment, and brought in experts for support. Eventually, he was able to successfully hatch his own chicks, which he sold to cooperative members at a discounted rate of 6 yuan per chick. And that wasn't all. He made a bold promise. If chicken prices ever crashed, he would buy back their chickens at a guaranteed floor price of 15 yuan per bird. The cooperative raised free-range chickens in the mountains. Chickens were active during the day and only caught at night, carefully, since they liked to sleep in the trees. Each batch had to be raised for at least 6 months, at which point their fluffy down feathers proved their high quality. But along the way, Qin Jun noticed something strange. For every 1,000 chickens, a few would turn out unusually small, barely weighing over 1 jin, about 0.5 kilograms. Others saw them as defective, unsellable, but not Qin Jun. Turning trash into treasure. One day, a poultry buyer from Guangxi called, offering to purchase 2,000 of the dwarf chickens, at 30 yuan per jin. A price even higher than regular chickens. Qin Jun was surprised but gathered the birds from his co-op members and sold them. Out of curiosity, he drove to Guangxi to see what the buzz was about. There, he discovered that locals loved small chickens for soup. They were just the right size and offered richer flavor than larger birds. That gave him a new idea. Could these dwarf chickens be bred on a larger scale? It took him over a year of selective breeding and crossbreeding. But eventually, he succeeded. The hatch rate for the dwarf chicken variety reached over 90%. Today, his dwarf chickens sell like hotcakes at local markets, and are now considered a specialty product in their own right. The 2020 crisis, and another bold move. In 2020, the free-range chicken market collapsed. Prices plummeted, at times dropping as low as 13 yuan per kilogram. Many farmers had no choice but to dump their stock at a loss, just to stay afloat. But once again, Qin Jun stepped in. He instructed all cooperative members not to sell at low prices. Instead, he told them to improve the chicken's feed quality. Why? Because once the chickens hit 6 months old, they start laying eggs. As meat prices crashed, Qin Jun made a strategic pivot from broiler farming to egg production. And the increase in feed costs? That was to boost egg output. He calculated, with 1.000 chickens, you could expect to collect over 600 eggs per day. Each free-range egg sold for 1 yuan and 30 fen, and customers loved them. People preferred free-range eggs because of their rich flavor and natural taste. At supermarkets and farmers' markets, his eggs were always sold out. Thanks to Qin Jun's leadership, the local government eventually declared free-range chicken farming a key local industry. Today, annual output has exceeded 1.2 million chickens, generating significant economic benefits for the region. From a simple dream of raising chickens in the mountains, Qin Jun built a thriving business, one that lifted not only his own life, but also that of his entire community. His journey is more than just about poultry. It's about resilience, innovation, and believing in the value of what others might overlook. A man who turned limitations into a legacy. That was today's story about the man who turned ordinary chickens into $1 million opportunity. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to MAPVORT Farm, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss future updates. See you in the next video.